I've been wanting to talk about these two games for a long time now, and I've been hesitant and kind of slacking and lazy and allowing the moment to slip and allowed the moment to slip by to where it's really not relevant to talk about it now. But thanks to the PlayStation experience, it has allowed me a window of opportunity to bring up a topic that I talked about many months ago that I was going to do. Excuse my throat and voice and everything. I'm still fighting this little ailment. But a lot of months back, I said I was going to do give my verdict between Uncharted 4 and Tomb Raider Rise of the Tomb Raider. Now, I didn't do it. Like I said, I was being lazy, caught up in other things, and really wasn't interested in, recording videos and editing and all that stuff. So I did not do it when the opportunity was there. But because of the PlayStation experience and Uncharted Lost Legacy, I feel an opportunity is here for me to not only knock out a few birds with one stone, but give my verdict between Uncharted 4, and Tomb Raider Rise of the Tomb Raider. Now, there's no denying that the PlayStation experience was pretty good. They could have trimmed the fat, but the PlayStation experience was really nice. We got Uncharted Lost Legacy, and we got Last of Us Part 2 footage. But I want to isolate the Uncharted Lost Legacy with Chloe. I can't think of the other girl's name, and she's a character in Uncharted 4. When the footage first started to show, as it played on, the first thought that came to mind was Tomb Raider. Now, you might say, Levelhead, you probably was thinking that because of the protagonist or the character that was being followed in the hooded coat or whatever was a female. And I would say, yeah, that's fair to say, but that really wasn't the only reason I thought Tomb Raider. It was the environment, it was the attitude, it was the nature of the cinema that was going on, all the things and the activity that was going on in the footage, in the trailer, felt like Tomb Raider. It felt heavy, it felt serious, it felt isolated and gloomy, and it felt fearful. You felt like she was in danger, that there was immediate danger around the corner, and you felt that way. And that made me think Tomb Raider. It did make me think Uncharted. Uncharted doesn't make you feel that, rather it's danger around the corner. The attitude, the tone of Uncharted's doesn't really make you take account for the danger. It employs you to go forward, to see what's going on, to see the action, to jump into the action. Whereas Tomb Raider is a serious. It makes you feel like, man, this is serious, and it gives you a whole different feel. So it made me go back to Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider, and Uncharted 4. And it's for that reason, that's one of the reasons why I feel Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider, was a better experience than Uncharted 4. And I feel like Tomb Raider has recaptured the throne. Now, we have to see with this whole Uncharted Lost Legacy, but for right now, in Levelhead's book, Tomb Raider has recaptured its throne as the best action adventure amongst the two. I feel like Uncharted 4 was a great game. I enjoyed Uncharted 4. But there was something that was lacking that was in abundance on Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider. I never felt like anything that I was doing in Uncharted 4 mattered. I enjoyed what you enjoy about Uncharted is, the interaction with Sully and Nathan and different characters like his wife, and now with Uncharted 4, his brother, and back in the day, Chloe and other characters. I enjoyed the interaction. Of course, the storyline of Uncharted are decent most of the time, sometimes escalate like Uncharted 2. And I would say even Uncharted 4 had a pretty nice storyline.
For those who prove worthy.
But I didn't feel I would say that the storyline drew me in. It drew my wife in. It drew my aunt in. They was interested in the storyline, but there was something missing in the action, the controls, the feel of the game was very loosey-goosey, I would say. It wasn't tight. It was loose. It's got a loosey floatiness to it. Whereas Rise of the Tomb Raider was a constant, on edge, unpredictable. You didn't know what was coming at what moment.
No offense to these guys.
A dark, serious tone that constantly kept you glued and engaged to what was going on. The storyline was just as engaging as I would say Uncharted 4 storyline was. I would say the acting and everything in Uncharted 4 was better. The interaction between characters were better, but I would say the tone and the narrative of Rise of the Tomb Raider was more engulfing than Uncharted 4's was. But you wouldn't get that. I would say that I would give the edge to Uncharted 4 with the story and the graphics.
I like the hand we've been dealt.
But I would say only because Uncharted 4 is more movie-like, and it allows those who are watching to get into it with and kind of not focus on the gameplay so much. But as a gamer, I would say that that Rise of the Tomb Raider for me was more engulfing because the action, the set pieces, the storyline, the tone of the storyline, the serious nature that it put on you, the sense of urgency, fear. You're very reluctant to walk around the corner. You're very reluctant to walk into this corridor, this area, because you don't know what's finna take place. You don't know what's finna come at you, from mummies to all types of things in that game. It just gave you a whole different feel. You didn't know what you was finna get into. I said mummies, but there's some characters and things that going on in Uncharted, meaning Tomb Raider, that was just very, very post-pumping. So, I feel that Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider, between the two was the better experience. Now, if you played the games and you played both, I would love to get your thoughts on this. But in my opinion, Tomb Raider was tighter. I felt like when I shot and when I was going through the game, I felt like I was totally in control of my character. I felt like there was more urgency with Tomb Raider. I felt that Lara Croft, the character, was someone that you took serious. Her attitude, her approach, her tone was one that made you feel like what she was doing, you were invested. You were, you wanted to see it through to the end, even though you felt a hint of anxiety as you went through the game, not knowing what the game was finna throw at you. Whereas Uncharted, it was just a fun slapstick. A few of the areas pointless. You scratch your head of why they made you drive through all this to get there. It was a lot of imbalance in the pacing. Very graphical, and they try to. What I felt like they was doing, they was offsetting the pacing and the nothingness with graphical overhaul. Like, oh man, the graphics, but a whole stage was spent driving from one place to the next. And it was a clever masking of not having anything here to do. Or like when you the child and you the young Nathan Drake running through the house and with your brother and climbing up, just a whole bunch of nothing. But it's graphical. It was nice, but it just wasn't anything going on. And then when you did get into the action, it was very good, very great, but it wasn't what Tomb Raider was. And if you look at Uncharted Lost Legacy and the tone and the attitude, it looks like more of a Tomb Raider type setting than an Uncharted. That's why I think everybody thought Tomb Raider. There is a difference between these games. I would say the first re-entry to Tomb Raider wasn't on par with the Uncharted's, but I would say Rise of the Tomb Raider, if you play Rise of the Tomb Raider, then you play Uncharted 4, you without a doubt was going to say Rise of the Tomb Raider was an overall better game. I mean, the last stage of Rise of the Tomb Raider is something out of this world. I mean, the game is legit. Graphically is not as good as Uncharted, but it ain't no slouch. Storyline, I feel like it's more engaging because it's married with the gameplay and the attitude and the tone better than Uncharted was. I think Uncharted had a lot more going on with the story because you had so many different characters involved, whereas at all times, Laura is always by herself for the most part. Every now and again you with a companion, I can't think of his name, but for the most part you are isolated. You running into new people, but you don't have a partner with you at all times. You are secluded by yourself in caves and dungeons and all these different places. And when you explore and go off the beat it path or set path, there's even more to see and explore that really gets the creative imagination juices flowing. It's just a different game. And when I look back on how I felt playing Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider versus Uncharted 4, I couldn't put the controller down. I could not put the Xbox One controller down with Rise of the Tomb Raider. I put the controller down on Uncharted 4 for about a month and a half before I finished the game. I went straight through Rise of the Tomb Raider. I couldn't wait to get home. I couldn't wait to turn on the game. And I haven't felt like that in a long time with a lot of these games. And that resonated with me. And that's what's making me excited about the possibility of what Uncharted Lost Legacy could be with the attitude that they displayed in that trailer. That's my verdict. I have to go with Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider. Hands down was a better experience to me than Uncharted 4. Now, if you would have said Uncharted 2, I would say Rise of the Tomb Raider and Uncharted 2 was on par with each other. I just feel like Tomb Raider has captured what Uncharted did with Uncharted 2. And it seems like Tomb Raider has captured that and has taken that momentum where Uncharted really doesn't know how to recapture the feel of Uncharted 2. Uncharted 4 was more like Uncharted 1 in feeling. Uncharted 2 is still clearly above all the Uncharted's. Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider is right there with Uncharted 2 in my feeling. And in some cases, because I felt like you was isolated in Uncharted 2. You felt like what Nathan was doing was important. It was just a great storyline, great feel, great control. I feel like it was the best control game out of the 4. But anyway, I'm rambling on because I love these games. Uncharted 2 made me question my my allegiance, man. I fell that in love with Uncharted 2. I'm like, oh my God, man. When I got Uncharted 2 in the house, it made me look at my Wii like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to come back to you for a long time. But anyway, I'm just being honest, folks. That's one of the reasons the PlayStation 3 was one of my favorite, system of that generation, man. I like the Wii. I wasn't the hugest fan of the Wii. I liked it. You know, and I always been candid about this, but Uncharted 2 made me question my allegiance for like a split second. But anyway, this is your boy Leverhead signing out. Till next time, folks, make sure you tune in to FullEffectGaming.com. Let me get your verdict. Which game, if you played Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider, or Uncharted 4, which was the better of the two, in your opinion? Leave it in the comment section. I rambled on for almost 16 minutes, and it'll be one, yeah. So anyway, I'm out. Deuces.